Hello and welcome to the video. During the last video in this series, we talked a little bit about some of the risks of using AI in law. Now, those risks were absolutely real, but the key message and one thing that I want to emphasize today is that AI is not something to fear in law. It is something to govern. With the right controls, you can safely use AI within your legal practice securely and ethically. And what I'm going to do today is to talk through some simple practical governance frameworks to enable you to be able to do this. So the first thing to look at is protecting client confidentiality. In the last video we talked about how when you can send your data off to a free LLM, it can be used within training data. So first of all, do not enter client identifying information into public or free AI tools. Instead, use enterprise grade models. Use paid for models that have no training guarantees associated with them and signed data processing agreements. Next, try and anonymize data wherever possible. So if you're sending a contract off that has personal identifying information, strip that out of the contract. Put person A, put date of birth B, C, D or something like that. Next, use or rather implement a firm-wide acceptable use policy for AI. So clearly define what can be input, what cannot, and what tools can be used and which tools cannot be used. So you're governing the use of AI effectively within your organization. And then lastly within this section, try and promote AI literacy within the firm wherever you can. Train your staff in the same way that you would train them for AML, etc. What is acceptable, what is not acceptable, what can you do and what can you not do to be safe and to protect client confidentiality within your work. Next, we're going to look at GDPR compliance and data residency. So it's very important when you're looking at AI tools to choose those that store and process the data within either the EU or the UK, depending on your jurisdiction. Ask any vendors directly, where is the data processed and where is it stored? Does it leave the UK? Does it leave the EU? If so, where does it go to? And keep a record of approved systems and data locations so that you always have that to place so that you can always demonstrate data residency to the SRA or the client or whoever else. Thirdly, hallucinations. So hallucinations are where the LLM confidently gives you a response. Now, that's great, but the important thing is to remember and to treat AI like a first-year associate. So with a first-year associate, you would check what they produced on a regular basis. Keep you in the loop, review what output they have produced. Ask them to verify all citations, all authorities, all facts, where do they get them from? And keep yourself or other senior people within the organization always in the loop in terms of what is going out the door that may well have been generated by AI. Ultimately, you're responsible for the advice that goes out the door and the liability is yours. So treat it as such even when utilizing AI. Next, think about bias. How we talked before about sometimes within AI, bias exists, right? So how do you help to mitigate that? Well, look at the prompts that you're giving to the LLM. Always ask to show reasoning and sources within the prompt. Do periodic bias checks, particularly on tools that you're using very frequently. And always use an audit trail for sensitive outputs. So what was input into the LLM? What was output from the LLM? Was that right? Ideally, you'd be utilizing a prompt library that has been written by an appropriate person so that when you're putting in standard requests, you always know that the quality of that prompt is high quality. Also, check the output using backtesting on a regular basis. So again, reconcile inputs versus outputs. What would you expect to get? What did you get? And therefore you can adjust your use, your prompts accordingly. And then lastly, we talked about the EU AI Act, which is coming in from 2026, which is not that long away. So start preparing for it. Prepare an AI register documenting all the tools that are in use. What are you using? What is the risk classification? What is the human oversight? What is the testing procedures for your use of higher risk activities? So just to sum up, AI is not the risk here. AI in law is not the risk here. Rather, ungoverned AI is the risk. AI in law is not something that you can just use on the side of the desk as and when. It's something that needs to be managed effectively and governed effectively with the right controls and procedure framework in place. If you have that there, then ultimately you increase your chances of success of leveraging the best of AI and helping you in your legal practice. That's it for today's video. If you have any comments, please leave them below, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.